Is that free smoke I see? Give me some.
CJ on 32s and you rocking out with free.
The life of Jerry Bear, man.
TK's garage.
You doing a budget, man? If you rock with me, you need to rock with free smoke, baby.
Mess with free smoke heavy.
What up, YouTube? It's your boy CashApp.
Beauty 392B.
Make sure y'all doing a free smoke. Hey, man, it's your boy, man, Reps for real, man.
Free smoke.
And you're watching Free Smoke.
Are you watching Free Smoke?
Free Smoke.
Free smoke.
Free smoke. Rocking with free smoke, man. Make sure y'all subscribe.
To the latest podcast on YouTube, Free Smoke.
Make sure y'all tune in to the Free Smoke family,
Free
man.
Smoke.
What is going on? What is going on, man? We are back once again, man. I'm your boy, FaTKaT. We got garage driven, modern day muscle down below, man. If you don't know, watch it. Smoke, man, on automotive news for the culture, and of course, well, it's not Sunday fun day as I usually say. It's we got to come with Thursday.
We got to come with a day for Thursday, bro.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yo, live, full effect, man. Thursday live show, man. We are here. Middle of the week. You know what I'm saying? It's almost end of the week, almost to the weekend. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna come back here and bless y'all with another live show. As y'all know, man, our guest for today. Unfortunately, last time we had some technical difficulties. He was on the road, man, so the connection was a little bit bad. So we had to bring him back, man. You know what I'm saying? One more time. But before we get into it, Garage Driven, Modern Day Muscle, man, how y'all doing today?
Hey, man, I'm chilling, man. Just happy to be here. It's Thursday, almost to the weekend, and you know we got that 3-day weekend coming up. So, you know, so I'm just looking forward to the weekend, man. Just looking forward to, you know, cooking out, eating some good food, just hanging out with some family and friends, you know what I mean? Just chilling.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. My day was, it was good, man. I'm off of work. I'm here with you guys, man. Let's get it cracking, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. So we definitely into it right now, man. Appreciate everybody rocking out with us today. Shout out a few people's in the chat, man. We got Auto Bez 313 in the building, man. Salute to everyone, man. Smash that like button. Yes, sir. Of course, we got Callie in the building. Of y'all know, man, that's Garage Driven's better half. You know what I'm saying? Keeps them in line, keeps them in check. You know what I'm saying? We got Beautiful Vibe Dynamic in the building. I don't think I've ever seen this name in here before. So appreciate you for coming in, checking out with us, rocking out with us for this hour, man. Y'all stay happy. Yes, of course, man. That's the key.
Absolutely.
That's the key to life right there. You know, it's the key to life. Happiness. All that stress and stuff ain't good on you. You know what I'm saying?
Bad for your health.
Yeah, man, you can't carry that type of load on your shoulders, man. Stressing out all the time. Nah.
Exactly. Of course, we got Jen and you're right. I'm about to cut you off, man. But yo, we got Jen and Rails in the building as well. Salute, Free Smoke and chat. Yo, Jen and Rails, man. I don't know what you guys did this last week, but we had a couple comments come through the comment section said, yo, they're coming from the Jen and Rails channel. So, yo, much appreciation to y'all.
Yes.
Like I said, I don't know what you guys did. But for some reason, just a bunch of people came over and it was like, yo, we coming from Jen and Rails channel. So yeah, showed massive amounts of love. So we appreciate that. Anyway, man, PB on the track in the building. Appreciate you for coming through. Of course, we got King DJ Slim in the building as well. Hellcat Diva in the building. All right, man, but let's go ahead and introduce our guest for today, man, because he has a wealth of knowledge. So we want to make sure that we get enough time with him. You know what I'm saying? So we could kind of get, kind of poke that out of him a little bit if we could. But if y'all missed last time, man, our introduction last time, like I said, man, this I've known this particular individual for, man, a couple years now. And I think when I met him, he had less than 1,000 subscribers, definitely less than 2,000. And right now he's literally on the verge of hitting 100,000. You know what I'm saying? Just like that, man. So, and like I said last time, if y'all didn't catch it, when we had him on last time, when I met him, he was a super humble, super cool, super chill dude. And to this day, he's the same exact way. Like, it doesn't matter, what other cars he's gotten. It doesn't matter how many people he's bust their ass on the track. Doesn't matter like how many subscribers he's had or he has right now. He remains exactly the same person, man. Super humble, super chill. Literally, you ask him any question, man, he's going to take the time to sit there and respond to you, talk to you, not just kind of brush your way and all that, man. So big time salute to our guest tonight, man. It's a pleasure to have him on the show. Let's introduce him, bring him to the stage right now, man. The one and only Mr. RacerX in the building. How you doing, sir? How you doing?
How's it going, guys? Appreciate you guys having me back. Sorry about last time. I was on the road and we just couldn't get the connection to work at all. So, my trying to dial in a bunch of times, it just wasn't working. So I can hear you much better. I'm at the house, so it should work out better tonight. So
I'm going to blame it on the fact that you were on an Apple device, but that's my story, and I'm taking it.
It could have been.
It's my story.
Don't feed into it, RacerX. Don't feed into his scheme over there.
we're bringing the guns out early today. You know what I'm saying? But once again, we appreciate you for taking out the time, second time around, to come back on the show. Mm-hmm. We had to reschedule and appreciate you for taking the time out again to come hang out with us and give us a little bit of knowledge, man. We greatly appreciate it. So like I did last time, if you remember, like we do with all of our guests, first question is, who is and what is RacerX? For those people that may not be familiar.
So what is RacerX? Well, RacerX is just the name of my channel. Obviously, been doing this for about 2.5 years, maybe. And the channel's just been real steady. I like to do a lot of different things. So I have a lot of things in terms of reviews. Obviously, a drag racer at heart. You guys have all seen me drag race. That's kind of my main thing, and where I have kind of my roots is drag racing. Been doing that for quite some time, but also I've kind of gotten into doing more product, car reviews. Mod lists, mod reviews, things like that, giving people just advice. So I do a fair amount of lives myself, which is great because I get a chance to kind of give back during my live sessions. And, my lives have grown to the point of having, 300, 400, 500 people on them at a time. And I think it's great. The comments come in so fast, I can't read them all, but I definitely try my very best. And I do enjoy always like the YouTube events I've seen you guys at before. That's one of my favorite things to do as a YouTuber and just give back to people and seeing the kids out there and that kind of stuff. And, I've just tried to have a diverse channel. Obviously I'm not just a Mopar guy. As you guys know, I do love Mopar, but I also, I like a lot of other stuff too. I'm an enthusiast is what I am. So I just, if it's fast and it's fun, I like it. That's the way I look at it. So, I kind of have more of a knowledge-based channel, meaning that I'm not just about drag racing. I do like to kind of share people with, my builds and why I do the things that I do and the differences between, supercharger and turbo and why I do the route that I go. And, there's no right or wrong, but I just try and spread knowledge and people seem to respond to it pretty well. So I've enjoyed the journey so far, man.
Yeah, that's one thing I must say about your channel. Like if I want some knowledge, like someone that I know for a fact that knows what they're talking about, I know RacerX is the man that's going to have that for me. So most definitely, man, keep it up. Appreciate all the content you put out, man. Great content.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
So let's go back, Mr. RacerX. Let's go back as far as back as you can remember. What actually started your love for cars?
Wow. I've liked cars since I was a kid, if I'm honest. My parents were not into cars. I really didn't know anybody that was into cars growing up. And a lot of times, that's stuff that's passed down. A lot of us have kids and stuff, and we kind of pass that knowledge down or that passion down. I didn't have any of that growing up. I just liked them. The first time I ever saw a Lamborghini on the street, it hooked me, and then first time I saw a Viper, they have such a different road presence to them, and now having driven them, I was like, wow, that thing drives like a plow. Right. But when it was so cool back in the day, and right. I just always had such an appreciation for all the different makes. If I saw something that looked different and unique, whether it was an old school car, a new school car, I just think there's something cool about it. And, we in America have such a unique car culture versus the rest of the world, where people love modifications here, more so than really anywhere else. And the way you can make your car unique and different in so many different ways, from donk cars like you guys have seen to the cars, that bounce all over the place, right? You got those things. guys that love speed like me, and then you got guys that like sound systems. I mean, there's so many ways to express yourself with vehicles, and I respect really all of it. That's not to say everything is that's all the stuff I love. I mean, I have certain things that I like and I don't like, but I think it's just unique in the way that we can express ourselves with our vehicles, have fun with them, and it's great time to be a car guy for sure.
Most definitely.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's funny because we are definitely like in a transition period. So it is really a good time to be a car person because we're kind of seeing, like the transition between like, the big motors. Actually, I think we're all almost around the same age. So we're seeing like the big motors and, this and that and third to, everything went down to like, V6s and V4s with turbos.
With turbos,
And then Dodge came back and was like, no, we're gonna put the big V8s back in. And then now we're in that transition period to everything is kind of leading towards, electrical.
Yep.
So it's kind of weird, yeah, that we are in this lifetime and we kind of experience different phases of the car culture or the car,
so,
I guess the car, manufacturing.
Yeah.
Right.
So, what do you think about what's floating around right now with June? I think it's June 6th. Dodge is supposed to release some sort of information on what they're coming with next. What do you think about that? Have you seen it floating around yet? That this was a release
out, but
they're saying July 6th. So I don't know what they're coming with next.
Not seen anything. I've been asking about it. Everybody's kind of pushing back. It's kind of like they were supposed to release all the information on the C8 Z06 this month. Push that car out to 2023. So
That's
everything
crazy.
keeps getting pushed back. They're still having problems getting microchips. You're not seeing the car production like it should be, which means the prices are up in the zillions. It's not an ideal time to buy a car because there's just no inventory and demand is still high. So it's just a lot of weird things happening right now. And then, of course, as you mentioned, we're in this transition period where we're looking towards more hybrid technology and electric technology. And the technology with electrics, while it's not true like a muscle car, is still fantastic. They're coming away with some look at that new Plaid edition and what Tesla's been able to do with that. Apparently, my buddy Demonology was just out somewhere driving an all-electric Cobra jet.
I've seen that.
That's where it's going. Whether you like it or not, is a different story. They're so quiet. Drive it, just a completely different driving experience. You have to change the way you think about cars when you think about electric technology because nothing is the same. There's no spark plugs, no exhaust. It's just such a weird way to drive a vehicle. It takes some adjustment, but you do. That's the way we're headed.
You're like, oh, let me turn my battery power up.
Yeah.
No boost. There's no boost gauge.
Radio Shack can pick up some batteries and you're off.
Like the one thing though about electric vehicles, which I think it's a gift and a curse. It's a double-edged sword. So like if you look at Tesla, right? And like I said, it's a gift and a curse because it kind of takes the fun out of it, but yet it's very economical, to your pockets. Because if you look at Tesla, if somebody bought a Tesla back in 2013, let's just say, right? 2013, 2014, they theoretically, they don't have to buy another Tesla. And all they do is just upgrade the software, and it's literally the same exact car. So it's kind of weird in a sense because right now, in your traditional sense, right, with these other manufacturers, if if you want the latest and greatest and new improved, you got to go get a new car. You got to go trade in your car, sell your car, do whatever, and go get a new car. But with these electric vehicles, and I don't know how it's going to be with the other manufacturers once everybody gets on board, let's say 15, 20 years from now when it's all electric. How is it going to be? Is it going to be you just buy a car, the body doesn't really change that much, you just go and get your little your software upgrades? It's going to, it's going to kind of dim the fun out of it where it's like, oh, that's the new, 2035 model,
So one of the things that with electric cars, and you guys need to talk to my good buddy B. Mason. I don't know if you guys know who he is or not, but very smart guy. He understands electric technology very well. And, they're getting so good with the batteries now. The range used to be the big knock, right? It's like, oh, what do you do when you only drive 150 miles? and you need to take a road trip. But now they've come out with all these extensive batteries that they go like a really long way on one charge. And so a lot of this, the big knocks on electric stuff, a lot of it's gone. My biggest knock with electric, the technology is fantastic. I hate that it doesn't make noise, but if you've ever driven one, especially like a 100D or something like that, it's amazing what those things are. Right. My big knock on them is that, and maybe you guys can explain this to me, but why are they so damn ugly?
It's like,
oh man,
I agree.
For example, right? They made an electric Mustang. They could have made that car nice looking. It could have been. It could look like a Pagani. If they could make it look however they want, and they choose to make it really ugly. And I'm like, why? Why can't they make it attractive? And so I just that's the one thing with it is like, does it have to look like a Prius?
Exactly. It's true.
I'm saying, like, why can't?
So are we talking specifically about the sedans, or we're talking about all of the vehicles for electric vehicles in general, or just Tesla?
Well, in general,
he was talking about like the new Mustang.
That thing's ugly. Yeah, that thing is dead.
Ugly.
That thing's awful.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the technology's all there. It's just like you could make it look like you could make a C8 looking car that looked awesome. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And why don't they? Why do they like, let's just make it ugly and they'll buy it?
Like, I guess Tesla's response to that is the Roadster that is coming out whenever that's going to come out.
I was going to mention that. And the Roadster is it's a pretty intriguing car to me. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, why did they have to make everything else so ugly? That's what I guess this the whole thing is like, why do you have to have a Volt that looks like a Volt? Like, why can't they just make stuff look a little more attractive? Like, you can make it look like a C7 Corvette if you want. You can make it look however you want to.
That's 100% true.
Seats, so you can kind of configure it in different ways, but I think most electric vehicles are kind of ugly, to be honest.
I must agree with that.
I 100% agree with that. And it's true. It's like, why don't they do that? But time will tell.
I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna go against the grain, and my favorite electric vehicle is probably one of the ugliest ones, and I don't think it's out yet. But the Cybertruck. I don't know why.
Oh
but
God! Come on!
I was literally that. So
I don't know. It looks like something out of a video game. I feel like I'm going to the moon or something.
Literally, that's exactly what I was saying. That's what I was getting ready to say was, when that Tesla truck came out, or came out in rendition or whatever, that was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life as far as a vehicle on the road. That potentially could be on the road, and people were like, yeah, putting their $50 down, $100 down, whatever it was. You said it looks like a video game. It looks like a video game, like a Sega video game. Like it looks like a video game from like way back in the day. Where it's like
I feel like I'm about to put boots on the moon in that thing.
It's just it's just a big block.
You know what it looks
big block.
It looks like Elon Musk sat his like little 4-year-old down and was like, draw a truck for daddy to make. He made it, and they're like, we're going with it.
I was going to say, it looked like they have a 4-year-old in the design department, honestly.
That's exactly what it is. You remember everybody back in the day when we used to draw your, your first little car in elementary school, and you kind of just did it like all, like looking crazy. It's exactly what it looks like. Exactly what it looks like.
I don't know why, bro. I don't know why. It's like I look at it, and I'm like, yeah, I could drive that.
So it's safe to say that if that drops on the road, we might see modern day muscle in the Cybertruck.
It looks good to me.
You can have it.
You can definitely have it.
Yo, hey, RaceX. I feel like I'm about to go kill aliens in that thing, man.
Look, Todd Snake said it right here. You know what I'm saying? That thing looks like something out of a bad 1970s sci-fi movie. Exactly.
But I like 100%. It though. But it's awesome. That's the reason why.
That is, you're going to be the guy.
It's going to be people like modern day that's going to buy it, and there's going to be a ton of them on the road because there's a lot of you guys out there that's going to buy that crap.
Some people just like ugly. I don't know why. They do though.
The only one though. That's the only one. Like I'm not co-signing the Mustang and the other electric stuff, but that truck, I don't know why. I don't know. I can't explain it to you.
And you can't help those people. So, but let's move on.
Oh man.
But let's move on. So so like I mentioned, when I first met you a couple of years ago, I think I want to say you were a little bit less than 100. I mean, than 1,000 subscribers, but you already had your car and everything else, right? But I think you started your car that you had at that time, but you started your YouTube with a particular car. So let's bring everybody up to speed, man, and how you started your YouTube channel, the car that you started your YouTube channel with, and what the name of that car was, and what all you had done with it.
Yeah, no. So for those of you not familiar with my channel, I started with my Charger Hellcat as a 2016. This black car, had a lot of custom stuff done to it, and really, I kind of regret it a little bit. I feel like I should have started my channel maybe a little bit sooner. Yeah, there's a good picture of it he's pulled up. So that is Excessive. That's the name of that car. And I felt like with RacerX, like most of my cars have an X-type theme in them somewhere. This one it's a record-breaking car. A lot of people copied the build on this car. I showed people really what I felt like was the ideal setup on a Hellcat. And I was really pleased that so many people really, had a following with this car. The car ran like 940s at like 147 miles an hour. And it's just a pulley and a tune car, basically. It's 275 upper, 10% lower, E85 car. A few other little goodies, obviously, the injectors and stuff to run E85. And then, of course, the, driveline and stuff. But, I mean, the car was really a fairly simple, just very dialed in car tuned by Pites Performance. And but nobody got to follow the build on this because I started my channel after the car was built. But I mean, the car was just a freaking monster. I mean, it down low. It was such a beast, so much fun to drive on the street. And I mean, I think all of you guys had seen my car run in person. And for a big 4-door sedan, it moved out pretty good. So the thing with that car is so consistent. So when it came to big events like Streetcar Takeover, where the car consistently finished in the top 3, the 10-second class, the car just put in work. I mean, it was just consistently fast. It wasn't one of those cars that was fast once and then broke. I mean, you knew exactly what the car was going to do every time out. It was reliable, and a lot of people chased that car for a long time in terms of trying to catch it. Everybody wanted to run me because they're like, they just want to see how I stack up against it. And guys were like, can I get close to beating him? And and that was just part of the fun of it. They would duplicate the build and try and figure out how close they could get to that car, and it turned into just the OG car. People started copying the stripe package on it. Now I drive around Dallas and I see cars all the time that look just like mine. And I'm like, I wonder where they got that idea. The
Trendsetter.
The stripes on that car were off a 350R. So that's not a factory stripe package. So it's not somebody was just like randomly thought about it. You know what I mean? They had to have seen. But imitation is a form of flattery, in my opinion. I'm glad a lot of people really tried to emulate the build because it really just works. It's a consistent way to make a 9-second Hellcat, and the car was just so much fun. It had a lot of great memories in that car, a lot of fantastic content with that car. I miss it a little bit, but sometimes you just got to move on to bigger, better things and different things. And I'm somebody who likes to just up. And but no, I did that with the Hellcat. Was an absolutely fantastic car. A lot of fun in that car. It's the only Hellcat to ever beat Donkmaster, in case you're curious about that.
I seen that. Yep, we know that.
Yep, that one. So I feel good about that. He's not an easy nut to crack, so to speak. So, I mean, the car it's kind of reached that like legendary status, and I kind of wish I still had it sometimes. But at the same time, I said, you got to move on to new things sometimes. Just, I like starting a new chapter. So that's kind of where we're at.
And that was a full interior car, correct?
When I raced Donkmaster?
Yeah.
No, I had the seat.
Oh, you had the seat top. Mm-hmm. So you wanted that little extra that day. You needed that.
Yeah, when I'm trying to go.
You got to get serious.
That thing weighs 4,600 pounds, so I need all the help I can get. So, proud of that car. Of course, Donkmaster didn't have seats in his either, and he was running a Kirky. So let's be honest about all that. But yeah, I was not running an interior, but basically, like I said, that car, no nitrous was ever run through that car. Just basically, and I could have gone, smaller on the pulley size and try to make more boost with it and all that kind of stuff. But the 275, 10% lower was a consistent formula for just being fast, and that car just put in a lot of work. So I was real pleased with it.
Now, was there a lucky person to obtain that car, or did you just like put it back to stock and get rid of it?
A buddy of mine actually owns it. I could literally go drive it tonight if I wanted to. He's got.
That's good. At least it went on to someone else. That's awesome. With it.
He ported the blower on it, so it actually makes more power than it did before.
Wow.
and he did a couple of little goodies to it, but it's mostly the same car. He went ahead and did like a little paint correction and some other stuff to it. But yeah, the car's right down the street. That he was actually in my Donkmaster video, so he was nice enough to trailer it out there. We got that race in. We got some new fuel pumps in the car and some other things, but the car's happy and it's doing good. So I'm just pleased to see that.
That's dope.
So let's talk about another car that you had on your channel at one point. And I think this was like a sleeper, surprising type of car that did a lot of damage on the track as well. And if you don't know, I'm talking about your Scat Pack shaker that you had, the Challenger shaker.
Yeah.
Was there anything? And I know at least on the channel you were saying, no, I'm not doing anything to it. It's kind of stock. You just put the tire on it when you were at the track. But literally, was there anything? Because that car did work on the track. With fair comparison, obviously, with fair races. So and similar setups. So was there anything special done to this car, or was it just a fast car?
The car just worked. I mean, I think there's something to the shaker on those. I think the shakers, especially the 19 and ups, they have a little bit of a different software in them. They just seem to be a little bit faster. That car actually, when we went to Houston, that car went in 11:52. It only had a drag pack on it. It had that ported throttle body, just that little tube that goes in through the air intake up through the headlight. Almost no work done. That car never had a tune on it. It never had long tubes, none of that stuff.
Wow.
So the car just it's just a really good running 392 car. So it's a low DA. I mean, that car consistently would run like 11.7. And it run like 780s in the 8th. So it's just a car that it's just a happy car. It just worked good. It wasn't anything crazy done to that car, and that's with a full interior, mind you. That's not even with taking seats out or anything. So I'm not sure. I mean, that car would go out and beat 1320s and stuff. It's just a good running car, So that was a fantastic vehicle. Still is. It's a lot of fun to run in a Scat Pack. I love that low end punch of the Scat Pack. As you guys know, you guys are Scat Pack guys, some of you guys. So they're a really fun car to get out and drive. But one of my most fond memories of that car was when with the race versus old Josh Laurent, when he was talking about he had the fastest Scat Pack in the nation, right? And then he got drugged by that car by about 4 cars. So he's a good kid. We had to bring him down to earth a little bit. So it's all good fun though. It was all fun.
Hey, this is all music to his ears because he is a shaker owner, Scat Pack. Challenger. And literally, actually, his car literally looks it's just.
It looks very similar to that.
It is. It's destroyed gray and everything.
The shaker just, I think it breathes just. I mean, you've got double intakes on that car. A lot of people don't realize that shaker's functional. The air comes in through the top, kind of goes around the back and into the air box, and then of course you get the air coming in through the front tube as well. So you've got kind of double intakes on that car. So I think it just cools off the IATs a little bit more efficiently, and the shaker just seems to work well, especially on the track for some reason. The shakers run right there with the 1320 sometimes, and the 1320 is a drag race oriented car. Down in Houston, several races with that car and the 1320 were almost too close to call. So, whereas if you run a 1320 and somebody like with a Charger, the car just walks away from it every time. So, I don't think that car ever lost to a Charger Scat Pack, but it's so much lighter. And that's the biggest thing is just there's a difference in weight in the way that thing transfers weight. And that car just kind of did work for what it was. It did really well. So it would outrun Camaros and Mustangs and all sorts of stuff at the track. So
I don't know, RacerX. I'm not buying it, man. You're over here, all the answers that we've gotten so far is like, hey, I don't know, man.
He's telling the truth.
Like, hey, the car just works.
Nah, hey, I must say though, telling the truth. Hey, me and Modern Day have went to Mexico a couple times on our cars. I had the Daytona 392, and I had a few mods done on my car, just small things, and I would get away from him a good amount, and I don't know what it is. I'll just see him coming, and then he'll just pass me and just keep going, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, it had to be something with the shaker, man. The shaker, it just works. I'm telling you, man. So if you're gonna invest into a Challenger 392. get yourself a shaker. You won't be disappointed.
And, that 50th anniversary is really nice too, especially the wide body one.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Yes,
yeah,
it is.
The 50th is really nice because you also get the benefit of having the shaker and the wide body. It's the only one you can get like that.
Yep,
so and they're limited editions. So yeah, those are great cars.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful.
I wish they made the 1320 in a wide body. I think that would be pretty cool if they did.
That would have been nice. Yep.
But they never did. So
whatever. So I have to ask you as well, man, because
it's not too hard to freight Liechtenstein one.
But I have to ask you as well, man, because we've seen you, with these different cars or whatnot. Like we've seen you on the track, and we've seen you become an actual instructor as well. So from someone who teaches, or at least have taught other people on the track, like tell us that process. Like, is it difficult? Is it frustrating? Is it easy? Like, what? Walk us through the process of actually, because I think you and Game Knowledge are probably the two that come to mind that consistently teach other people, what to do on the track at the tree and things like that. So walk us through that process.
Yeah, I will say my buddy Demonology and I, we've had some really good battles there at the track. So, we probably need to get another one of those. And once this Mustang gets finished up, we'll talk about that later. But maybe he and I will get to tie into each other again. But no, we honestly, the whole thing with teaching people, it is a little frustrating when you see somebody that you see doing it the wrong way that's not coachable. And that's my biggest thing is like, I'm not out there to try and make a fool of you. I try and be pretty, if you don't want my help, that's fine. You know what I mean? But if it's something I feel like I can help you out, whether it's just setting the car up initially, a lot of people, that's where they make the mistake at first. Just, I can't, why can't I hook this car? Matter of fact, a little story. I was out there with, I won't say his name, but I was out there with kind of a buddy, and he had a red eye that was modified. And, he's like, I cannot get this car to hook. It doesn't run right. And the car makes 1,000 horsepower. It should be fast. And he's like, I just can't figure this out. And I said, well, are you doing this? Are you doing this? He said, yeah. And I said, well, do you want me to drive it? And he was like, yeah, you drive it. He's like, there's no way you're going to get. And I went out, bam, 9.2. And he was like, what in the hell? And I was like, look, man, it's you just have to have the car set up, and you just kind of have to know what to do. So I coached him through it again. And then I saw some other mistakes he was making. I rode down the track with him, and I told him, I said, you need to I showed him right where the RPMs need to be, kind of the way to stage. And there's different ways. I mean, everybody thinks because cars are automatic that they're just easy to drive at the track. And that's not really true. You have to understand your car, how to set it up. You have to understand how to bump in. You have to understand how to leave on the light. You have to understand how to stall the car up. And sometimes cars like different things. And so, like the Scat Pack didn't like to be stalled up nearly as high as the Hellcat did. Those are things you find out with seat time. And so if I can spread a little bit of knowledge to people at the track and say, here, set the car up like this, this is what I've had success with. Take it or leave it, but typically it seems to work out pretty well, right? So, you get somebody that's super appreciative, and I've taught a lot of people at the track, they couldn't get their car to, to hook up, and then all of a sudden, life changes when all of a sudden you start having a little bit of success and some of that frustration goes away. And I love to see that. So that's really the whole goal there, is just to spread knowledge and help people and help them be more successful and safe. Right. And those two things are always the ideal, situation. My good buddy, Black Battle Cat, was having a hard time with, it was two cars that were set up just like my Hellcat. Two good buddies, and some of you guys may know those guys, but anyway, I ran Battle Cat's car against Kenneth Scott, and he could not beat Kenneth Scott. I took one pass in his car and beat him, and I said, see, it's doable. Wow. It is doable. You just got to get out there and just believe it. And now he's doing pretty good. So, but he's building that car up like a monster. But anyway, it's just fun. It's fun to spread knowledge and help people, and I really do enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than doing a monster build on your car, and then you're not seeing, the time that you're looking for. The car can produce that time, but you just can't achieve it because it's just, obviously driver error. Something you're not doing right. Like you said, just the way the car's set up. You know what I'm saying? Those cars got the performance pages. You got to set up your drive modes a certain way just to get down that track properly. Just to be able to leave the line properly. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's something to that, and then there's also something about just having a car that's consistent. So, like for example, the last time I ran Streetcar Takeover, the last 3 rounds of Streetcar Takeover, I took out a 1,400 horsepower ZR1, a 1,700 horsepower GTR, and then a race truck that made almost 2,000 horsepower. And beat them all because I was able to beat them off the line, and they just made mistakes. And so sometimes it's just a matter of understanding your car and being consistent. And if you can do those things, you understand your car, you know how to set it up, you can, and you just have some driving skill and some seat time, you can be pretty formidable.
So well, what I'm learning is because I'm learning through you right now as you're speaking. Horsepower isn't always the problem. Horsepower isn't always the problem. It's technique. But the question that I wanted to ask you is, how long did it take you being on the drag strip to be like, all right, I think I have this down now. I know what I'm doing. Like, when did you feel like you were like a pro?
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a pro, so to speak, but when did I feel like confident in my ability to kind of teach others and help them be successful, or when did I feel like I kind of had the cadences down and all that kind of stuff? It just comes with seat time. So I don't know if there was ever like a time where I just kind of switched my mindset over to like, I'm good at this, because I've been doing drag racing for a long time, but it does take seat time. I mean, you're not going to go out in your car the first or second time and be like, I'm the all pro at this. Some people would say because I could get in other people's cars and be pretty effective at racing them, that just, it comes with experience. But I mean, still, that doesn't mean I couldn't be better at it later. And you always have to be working on getting better, right? The track conditions change, the air changes. So you just have to kind of know. Sometimes you have to know, hey, let's let a half pound of pressure out here and there. And that's something you just learn through years and years of experience, trial and error, making mistakes. So I don't know if there was ever like a point where I really felt that. I feel like I'm still learning. I feel like, if there's somebody that can teach me something that, that's something I can always put back here. I'm not too proud to continue to learn and get better myself. And, but in terms of just having that general knowledge about things like tire pressure, how to keep your engine bay cool, or little things like that, that's all stuff you pick up along the way. And it takes years to get that figured out. And if I can tell somebody in 10 minutes, hey, 10 checklist, boom, keep your hood up, do this, set your car up this way. Sometimes that's a kind of an effective way to sort of help somebody along and learn through your mistakes and your experience in a relatively quick fashion, which is a good deal.
So Modern Day having some issues there, guys.
Yeah, Modern Day must have some issues. What we do, me and Modern Day must live down the street from each other, and we do have a little bit of bad weather right now, so maybe he's getting a little bit, getting hit a little bit harder more than I am. But speaking of which, let's go to switch gears a little bit. Let's bring it to where we're at today. So we talked about the cars that you basically brought your channel up on, how you introduced your channel, things like that. So let's talk about, what made you, you already kind of touched on it. You said, moving on to bigger and better things. But what was the ultimate decision to say, hey, I need to go ahead and get rid of this, my Hellcat, and let's talk about your latest car, what you have now, and what what your thought process was on as far as building that car.
So a couple of things. So one of the things I noticed, and as my YouTube channel continued to grow, I perform a lot of self audits, meaning I'll go through and I'll look at the content that really does well and what doesn't do well. And, when I kind of did a little bit, you kind of have to treat your YouTube, even though it's something I enjoy, when you get to a certain point, you kind of want to treat it a little bit like a business. You want to continue to gain traction. You want to continue to put out stuff people like and people enjoy. And, when you put out videos that people just don't watch that much, you're kind of like, well, sometimes you'll put out a ton of work for a video that will get no traction. And then you put out a bunch of work, or you put out very little work for a video that gets all sorts of traction. So you kind of look and see what works for you. And one of the consistent themes that I noticed is whenever I did Hellcat videos, they just didn't do much. And so while it's not all about views, and because I really enjoyed the car, I would go out and race. Like when I raced Carlos's Porsche, I beat him by 0.02 of a second. One of the best videos I've ever done. Nobody watched it. Nobody cared. It was a fantastic video, but just no traction, because the Hellcat just got to a point where there's so much content online about Hellcats now. And, when that is by far your most expensive car payment, and it's not doing anything to help your channel, you're only driving the car maybe one out of every 3 weeks. you're kind of like, I just need to go a different direction with stuff once in a while, you know. And then you start to look at big guys that are really successful at YouTube, guys that have big channels. And you start to look at one consistent theme. And the one consistent theme you'll see with guys who've had channels that have successfully grown and continue to grow is they're not scared to change platforms sometimes. They're not scared to do something different. And I'm like, well, let's try something different. I've never owned a Mustang before. The Mustang community is massive, and I'm just an enthusiast. I'm not just I love Mopar, but I'm just not Mopar. I want to teach people about other platforms too. And so I thought, you know, this is a good opportunity for me to kind of branch out, do something a little bit different. So I got on the phone with Hellcat, who is one of the premier twin turbo kit makers really in the world. And they seemed very interested. They liked my delivery. We developed some sort of a rapport, a partnership, if you will. And I said, look, you know, what do you think is the best platform to showcase, you know, this? And they said, look, man, just a Mustang GT with the 10-speed in our system is fantastic. They're light. You know, they're 1,000 pounds lighter than your Hellcat. So it doesn't take that much power to get them moving and to be really fast. And we think you would do a great job showcasing this. So before I ever bought my Mustang GT, I had that conversation with Hellcat. And I had this basically custom spec sheet on this car, and got the car. And there's a good picture of it. And it's Kona blue, Superman red seats in it. Call it the Superman spec, but just a really neat lightweight car with a 10-speed in it. And the Coyote engine is really robust. It's 32 4 valves per cylinder. Direct injection. It's just the thing. They breathe really well on the top end. So a completely different driving experience than say a Scat Pack would offer. Both have their merits, but it's just different. But those things tend to hold boost pretty well. And so you can run 10 or 12 pounds of boost on those relatively comfortably, which is insane because on a Mopar, you simply can't do that. Pushrod engine with the ring gap and stuff, it just doesn't work that way. So completely different engine design with this. So I thought, you know what? Let's give it a go. And so we built that car up. It took like 4 months to get all the twin turbo parts in and everything going. Gearheads did a build on it. And for those of you that have not seen the footage, the car made good power. I mean, at only 6.5 pounds on the spring, the car made like 675 wheel or something like that in 95-degree heat. And then as we stepped it up, at 9.5 pounds, the car made like almost 800 wheel. And then the car made almost 900 wheel at a little over 12 pounds, which is for a car that only weighs 3,600 pounds. I will tell you firsthand, it was an absolute missile. So I did a draggy test. A lot of people don't know this because I never aired it because I was still getting the bugs worked out. But that car, even on the 9-pound setting, which was only setting 2 out of 4, it was still faster than the Hellcat.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That's footage you won't see on my channel. I didn't get a chance to air it. But even at 9.5 pounds, that car was faster on the draggy from the 60 to 130 than the Hellcat was. So, like I said, and it hasn't been turned up yet. So now, I don't know if you guys caught wind or not, but unfortunately, that car met its demise here about a week ago.
Sad day, man. I seen that. I was like, man.
So yeah, Rex said that was actually gonna be my next question. Was what happened if as much as you care to share, but what happened on that day? Because we seen we did a video on it actually.
You did?
We covered that.
Okay.
But what happened on that day?
So I just made a late night grocery run down the street. On the way back, it was kind of sleeting outside, so the roads were just a little bit slick. Still have my street tires on, which typically do great in the rain. That's kind of what you want on. You don't want to run around in drag radials when it's wet outside. If you can it. And I was just cruising along in the left-hand lane, going about 70 miles an hour. I went through kind of a little dip in the road, and unfortunately, I came up on the other side. It looked like there was mud going across the road. It's actually what happened. I thought it was oil at first, but it was actually mud coming from the median. And so actually did an inquiry with the city on this. So I can't go into a lot of detail about it, but it was going across the HOV into the second lane. And as soon as I went through it, I got to the other side. The car came directly to the right a little bit, and then the butt end came all the way around, slammed the wall going 70 miles an hour. And, if I'm completely honest about it, I'm kind of lucky that I'm still here. That's the truth of it. Those of you that have seen the car, some of you guys have seen this on my channel. I've never had an accident like this in my entire life. It's I've driven so many performance cars, 1,000+ horsepower. Never had anything like this happen. A lot of people were like, "Oh no, you're out doing pulls and all this kind of." I'm like, "Yeah, I was out on 235 street tires in the rain doing hard pulls not in my 1,000+ horsepower Mustang."
They're just ridiculous with it, man.
It's just some people just kill me with that. But at the end of the day, it was just kind of a wrong place at the wrong time. I was not the only car involved in that situation. There were others as well. But I will say that it was just really sketchy. It was just a very sad situation. I had the turbo kit on the car for 2 weeks. I had a whole list of stuff. I was getting ready to film with that car, and then that happens, and it just kind of, two things happen. One, it takes you back and it frustrates you because it rocks your world, right? I mean, you've got all these plans that you've been putting together for 6 months, and then all of it just goes up in smoke, right? Just like that. It's amazing. But the other thing that happens is it causes you to take a deep pause and think about what's really important. The fact that I easily could have died. My seatbelt, I'm so lucky to have it on, because I can promise you with 100% certainty, if I did not have my seatbelt on, guys, I would not be here talking to you right now. I would absolutely be all over.
Well, I'm definitely glad you were able to walk away, because that's no joke. No joke.
Because the way that hit looks, if you wasn't wearing a belt, that was definitely ejection. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And airbags, the car did exactly what it was supposed to do. Every system on that car did what it was supposed to do to protect me. The airbags all went off. I didn't know those cars had airbags by the knees. Like, my knees didn't even get bruised. I thought my knees would be all mangled up and in pieces. Because of the impact was so severe. I don't know if you guys have ever had an impact at 70 miles an hour with a wall, but I bent the steering wheel about 2 inches both sides, trying to hold myself back. Obviously the airbag punched me in the face. I did get a concussion. My arm is almost all healed up, actually.
Seen that, yeah.
That's from the airbag. But other than that, I walked out of that. When you look at that car, you're like, did this person survive? I literally walked out of the car. And
I couldn't believe that you was vlogging like afterwards. I was like, RacerX, you're crazy.
Well,
but you know what?
I was sitting there waiting on it took them 10 minutes. I was on the phone with 911. They're like, well, just stay put, stay behind the car. I was like, all right, so what do I do while I'm standing here? I had my phone in my hand. I'm like, you know what? I better get this for the channel so people know what happened.
What happened,
And then also I wanted to go back and get some footage which was not shown on my videos for the insurance company. So the insurance company came back. I heard from them just a little bit ago, right before I got on the phone with you guys. And obviously, the car obviously is a total loss, as we know. But the car's getting completely paid off. It's a not at fault accident. My premiums aren't going to increase a penny. They did a bunch of research with the city. They actually have the footage from the wreck. The city does. And they went out there and cleaned it up the next day. A lot of people have said that I should, sue the city and all this other stuff. And I just don't know if that's the right thing to do. Sometimes I feel like things just happen. But, I'm
about to say, did someone go out there and lay it out? One of the city workers? No. It's just happened. Yeah. It was raining. Of course,
it's just that happens.
It was just such a freak situation. Ultimately, it was very sad. I've never had anything like that happen before. I may not ever, hopefully, knock on wood, right? I never have anything like that happen again.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's been so many situations that I've been able to drive out of just using driver skill and having knowledge. I've been in a lot of sketchy situations where the car has gotten weird, but I've always been able to drive out of it. And in this one, I was literally just a passenger. Didn't matter what I did. It was just, there was nothing I could do. So it's a sucky situation.
That's one of the things that we mentioned when we covered covered this particular video on you with the accident. That's one of the things we were mentioning. We were like RacerX is not a rookie. Like he's had multiple and been on the wheel of multiple high horsepower cars. So for something like this to happen, and granted it can happen to anyone, we understand that as well. But for something like that to happen, we know that it had to be something way out of your control, because like I said, we've seen you drive, we've seen you do your thing, and like I said, you are a seasoned and experienced driver. So it basically just what Todd Snake says right here. Basically, it was just you know, Jesus take the wheel, you know.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like what the instance was right there. But we are happy that you are here with us, you know, because like I said, that situation could have been way worse. So we definitely appreciate the fact that you're still with us, here with us, and you know, able to, you know, build another vehicle if it comes to that, and you know, what I'm saying, things like that, and you're still able to enjoy.
Yeah,
you know, enjoy yourself, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that. You guys can't get rid of me that easy, man. You know how it goes.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to TK's Garage, by the way.
Appreciate you, TK.
Shout out to everybody that's in the chat, by the way. I'm not ignoring you guys, man. I see them pulling you guys up. The Real New York is in the building. 1320 roll in the building. Todd Snake, we've seen you. Heavy Powered. The list goes on and on. Ladies Just Ride, we've seen you come in. Lucky Two Guns, we see you come in as well. So appreciate everybody that's coming in to rock out with us.
Yeah, I got something to say as well, FaTKaT. I just wanted to shout out my internet guys. I'm sorry I keep popping in and out. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna as soon as we get off this live, I'm gonna be calling my internet company, man, because I'm not sure what's going on right now, man. But it's unacceptable, crazy.
Yeah, all good. We understand. I told him when you were having issues, I told him that, you know, we don't live too far away from each other, and I know that
it's pouring over here right now.
Yeah, we have a crazy storm going on right now. Garage Driven, do you want to take a quick pause? Because I know you're kind of getting close on time.
Yeah.
Garage Driven works.
Up, bro. I can't even hear you. There we go. Now I can hear. For a minute, I couldn't hear anything, bro.
Well, Garage Driven, he works unfortunately overnight. So when we do the shows throughout the week, you know, right at this time is when he has to kind of take off.
Yeah, I was looking at the time right now too.
Yeah, so I'll let you say your last words to RacerX before you get out of here, and then me and Monday Muscle would you know, keep it going.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, glad you're safe, glad you made it out that accident. Honestly, man, you know, so you're here to live to, you know, see another day, build another car, race another car, man. So I'm just excited to see what you do next. You know what I mean? Just, you know, just wish you all the best, man. Honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys. Yeah, no, I can't wait. I've got some more stuff coming down the pipe. You know me, I've always got something going on in the background. Been very busy. So lots more stuff to come from me here soon. And yeah, I really appreciate all the well wishes. I had thousands of people reaching out, and I can't tell you how nice it feels when you've got that kind of support. And I feel very fortunate. Obviously, each of you guys, and then of course my whole crew back in the RacerX Nation. It's been a lot of people reaching out to me and making this whole thing just a lot better for me. So I really appreciate all that.
Sounds good. Yo, my pods again. Went out again, bro. Oh my gosh.
Hey, that's the Apple products. It's those Apple products that
no, I'm gonna tell you what it is. My wife is over there.
My AirPods always work.
No, her joint connected to the computer also for some reason. I don't know what's going on, bro. She's over there. Stay off your pods.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Hey,
I'm here. Like, I start hearing her movie or whatever. She's like watching or something. It sounds like I'm like, what's this?
You got to log on the phone and talk to forget the device, bro.
That's funny.
That's
hey, Garage Driven. Well, hey, Garage Driven, we appreciate it. You know, we know you got to take off the work, man. So you drive safe.
I'll be in the chat, man. I'll continue watching, guys. You guys have a good one.
All right, cool.
And thanks for coming on again.
Drive safe, man. We'll talk.
Yes, sir.
Safe, bro.
All right.
So RacerX, and we don't have too much longer to go either ourselves. We don't want to take too much of your time. But basically, I wanted to know, what is next for you. So we talked about how you started. We talked about where you were at, up to a couple weeks ago, and the unfortunate situation. So where does RacerX go from here?
Well, I've got several ideas. There are several things working in the background right now, which I can't necessarily divulge at this point just because they're not really solidified, right? But I do have some things working in the background. I have been very blessed because my sponsors, they've been very understanding. One of the things that sucks about a wreck like that is the fact that it doesn't, it happens to me personally, but it also, there's a lot of people that had a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of hard work invested in that car. It wasn't just me. So the guys at Gearheads, Hellion Power Sports, Magnaflow, they all came together to make the car what it was. It was a pretty special car. And so you just kind of feel, even though I feel like there's nothing I can do about it, you feel a little bit guilty because there were so many people that were invested heavily in that car and we didn't even get hardly to do anything with it. So you know, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do right now. As I mentioned, it's just a sucky time to buy a car with the markups you're seeing right now. Like, for example, I went today and drove a car. I've got a video coming out later tonight. I got to edit it as soon as we're off of this. But comparing three really, really neat Mopars. So I think everybody's really going to enjoy this. But I mean, these are all six-figure cars. And, you know, not everybody has six figures to just throw down on a car. And, you know, especially when you've got a lot going on, you just had a wreck and all that stuff. So it's incredible how desensitized we get to how expensive the cars are right now. So you kind of have to really look and see, you know, you have to find just the right car, and you have to have the plans for it. And you know, I worked on this twin turbo planning thing. I mean, I worked on this car for 6 months. Like, you can't tell that by looking at the channel, but, you know, I'm always like planning for the content that's going to be out in 4, 5, 6 months, right? So, you know, right now I'm in the planning process for some of this content that I want to get months down the road and bring really unique and special stuff to everybody. It just takes time. And when you have something like this that just sort of blows up all of your plans, it sends you scrambling and kind of wondering, well, what the heck do I do now, right? But rest assured, I'm working with my sponsors. I'm working with the folks that are closest to me. Certainly a lot of the people that help support me. I'm going to see my man Todd Snake on tonight. It's good to see him. Right. But several other folks that are also big, you know, subscribers to my channel. But, you know, I've had so much support. I feel so blessed. You guys, again, are also some of my biggest supporters, and I really appreciate that. And I can't say to answer your question, but I do know that I'm going to have some pretty cool stuff coming up here very soon. And as we know, sometimes stuff happens for a reason, right? And sometimes it's just for an epic comeback, so to speak. And that's what I got in the works. We're gonna make an epic comeback on it, and we're just gonna keep things rolling.
Nice. Yeah, I understand that, but like I said, obviously we're going to be watching. You know, as we like to say, watching, supporting, and reporting. So we'll definitely be here. You know, with our eyes glued to the screen to see what RacerX is doing next. And I want to shout out real quick. I don't know what TK does. I don't know what kind of magic juju he has. But
got some YouTube fingers, man. I don't know what he does.
TK's Garage, you know, he comes in and he does his little magic. You know, I don't know if it's like YouTube witchcraft or something like that.
He comes in here like Merlin.
But he comes in and he's like, you know, he's like, oh, hold on, I'm gonna share this video to a couple of different things, and don't worry about it. You're gonna have, you know, this amount of people here soon, because I think we probably right around 30 people when he came in, and then it just jumped up to like, you know, almost like 350 in like a matter of a couple minutes. So I don't know what he does, but hey, shout out to TK's Garage, man.
Yeah, big shout out to TK's Garage, man.
Figured out.
But you know, I was going to ask you this. I had another question I was going to ask you. I want to ask you this first. Do you think, with your setup, right, that you had going with your Mustang, and this man, I'm so kind of disappointed that we probably didn't get to actually see it. At least not that I know of. But with your setup, and at least with the idea that you had and everything, everything was all dialed in, do you believe that your setup on your platform would have outrun or beat Montefane in his setup? Because he has the twin turbo Hellcat.
So, yeah, that's a really difficult question, because I don't know just how fast his car is, because the footage I've seen in his car is it's not really running its best, and I feel like he would definitely have the power advantage. I will say that this Mustang, I don't know what else to say about it. It was a missile, because it just doesn't weigh that much. So, I mean, you're talking about a car that weighs 700 pounds less than his car. So it doesn't take as much horsepower to get that car just absolutely rolling. And the way that car breathes on the top end, it was really fast. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't know even how fast that car was. So would it beat Montefane? I really don't know the answer to that. We talked about doing a draggy race, because obviously he's up in New York and here I am in Texas, and we talked about doing a draggy race when he was on one of my lives, and that was actually one of the videos that I wanted to do before, of course, the situation with the car happened. And I would still like to get that in. I would like to see him, get his car dialed in, right? I want to see that car do everything it's capable of doing. And I don't know how fast he's been on the draggy with that. But of course, now I don't have the Mustang anymore. So it's kind of like, well, what do you do? But you just never know what I'm going to come up with next. So, who knows? Maybe I'll have something else to race him in here in the near future.
Yeah, I think that would have been a great showdown, for you guys to meet up at one of these events, that they do, multiple times a year. And that would have been a good one for people to see, Hellcat, Mopar versus Ford, and basically, similar setups on different platforms, and see how that would have came all about. Man, that's just disappointing. But hey, everything happens for a reason, and like I said, at the end of the day, where the bottom line is, unfortunate things happen. We're happy that you're still here with us.
Absolutely.
To continue to move forward. TK's Garage did have a question though. He wanted to know if the car went to Copart.
Yes, it did. It went. Copart was supposed to be picking the car up today. So my funds came through. Well, actually, they'll come through tomorrow to go ahead and get the car paid off and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, I was working through with the insurance company right before we got on this call. There's a lot of moving parts with this. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out where I go next from here. I've got several irons in the fire, so to speak. Some people that are close to me kind of know what direction I'm trying to go with it, but. Right. Nothing comes easy, and as typical thing is just nothing is coming easy or without complication, and that's just part of it. So, but we'll get there. In the meantime, as I mentioned, I do have lots of other ideas. I have a fantastic video that I'm going to be editing and putting out later tonight. I think everybody's going to enjoy that one. So, we'll continue to put out stuff. Luckily, I have a diverse enough channel where I can still put a lot of content out even without having a car. So, right. We'll continue down that. Soon you guys will see a video with me revealing my new car, and I think you guys will be. I think you guys might be kind of surprised. We'll see.
Oh man! Wait, you're not going. You're not going JDM, are you?
You never know.
That was a good one.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just thinking. I don't know why I thought about it. Just popped in my head. It'd be kind of crazy to see you come up with like a.
I mean,
or something like that.
We could go Hellcat moped. You never know. They put Hellcats in all sorts of interesting things now. So
yeah, right.
For real, Hellcat.
You're right about that. You're right about that. You're definitely right about that. But yeah, like I said, man. But we're just happy that you're here with us and able to move on. And we're excited to see the next vehicle. We know that anything you touch is pretty much going to be. Crazy. So, like I said, we're excited to see it for sure.
Yeah, I got some plans. So, like I said, my sponsors have been very, very helpful, and they're trying to do whatever they can to try and make things go for me, and I'm very blessed to have that. So, good stuff coming soon.
Now, were you able to pull a lot of that stuff off your car? I don't know if we want to talk about this or not, but like as far as motor wise,
I can't talk a lot about that right now.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I will eventually be able to talk a little bit more about what's going on with that, but we'll have to. I got to plead the fifth on this for right now. So
gotcha. Understandable. TK said, I have the. Oh, I don't know if you've seen this. I'm not sure if you follow TK's Garage or not, but he just bought. So he deals a lot with Copart, and he just got a GTO, and apparently that GTO is associated with Prince, like the singer Prince. The Prince's I guess company that he owned or something like that. That car was purchased and registered under that company of the singer Prince. So
how cool is that? I bet I know what color that car is.
Well, it's actually it's black with
okay.
But apparently it had purple stripes on it as well. So
there you go.
Well, yeah. But hey, so one of the last things I'm gonna have for you here, and like I said, we don't want to take too much of your time this evening. What is your dream like car? If you had an infinite amount of funds, what is your dream car? First, I'm gonna say, what's your dream car? Like supercar or just any kind of car. Mm-hmm. And then second is, what's your dream? Because everybody has a dream, and then everybody has a realistic thing, right? So what's your like realistic? So what's your dream car one? And then part two to that question is, what's your like ideal dream setup? If that makes sense. So like a realistic car that you can purchase and an idealistic setup. This is my perfect car that I get to drive, take to the track.
Yeah, no. So there are obviously lots. I'm a true enthusiast. So there's so many cars that I absolutely love. Right. And, the thing is, I'm very blessed because I have such good relationships with a lot of dealerships. And through my relationship with these dealerships, I've been able to drive, and some friends, obviously, I've been able to drive some truly incredible machines, whether it's YouTube friends or whether it's friends just through other means or whether it's through the dealership. I've had a chance to drive McLarens. I've had a chance to drive Ferraris, obviously like Lamborghinis, and just like all sorts of exotic, really fun vehicles. And the one that really has my heart and has had my heart for quite some time, unfortunately, it's kind of like the Gone in 60 Seconds, where he gets that unicorn, and he finally gets the GT500, the Eleanor car. Right. And the car just isn't cooperative with him at all. And that's how this car is for me. So, but my dream car is an SVJ. I really do like the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. That thing has the most incredible road presence to me of anything. And so many of you guys, I think you guys were there when TJ had his car in Memphis.
Yes.
And then
beautiful. I
was going to go drive that car. I don't know if you guys caught wind of this, and we wrecked it. With TJ driving it, I was not driving it. TJ hit a curb. And that car, just hitting a curb, cost him more money than I think my Hellcat was worth. We joked about that. And TJ,
oh my God,
it's okay. I have another one.
Don't worry.
But there's something about an SVJ. I mean, he had a limited edition SVJ. Still has it. But oh my gracious, what an incredible. You want to talk about a machine that sounds incredible. If you've gotten close to one of those V12s behind your head when it goes nuts, I realize it's not the fastest thing in the world. The McLaren 720S is faster and but you want to just talk about a road presence. Gosh, what a gorgeous car. I mean, they are so special. When you see them in person, they're so special. And my dream setup on that car would be like an underground racing twin turbo Aventador. That I'd make some changes to it. I'm not a fan of the single clutch. If there's some things we can do differently with that, but in terms of a 2,000 horsepower Aventador SVJ, there's only a few in the world, but I'd be pretty happy with that. So that's ultimate. Some people say, they want a Koenigsegg or they want a Bugatti. I personally don't really care for the look of the Bugatti, the Chiron. They're fantastic, but I don't think the SVJ to me is just a better looking car. And the Agera is a good looking car, like a Hypersport. All the crazy stuff out there that costs millions of dollars. Right. Another one I really like is the P1. That's a close second to me. I really do like the P1 a lot. Yeah. It's not as fast as a 720S or a 765, certainly, but in terms of just looks, oh my goodness gracious. So those are the two. If I had that garage of just multiple, wholesome goodness with no limit on money, those two would be in there for sure.
Nice. Like I said, man, we're glad we you were able to share that. I tell a lot of people actually, one mistake that people make when they think of Lamborghini, right? Because some people are like, oh, man, I don't want a Lamborghini here. I beat him with my Hellcat or this and that and the third. And I always tell people, you're not necessarily, now granted, if you get a Lamborghini or an Aventador and everything else and you modify it, it's different. But Lamborghini itself, in my eyes, in my opinion, I don't think that necessarily I don't think they really care about being the fastest car in the world right now. That's not their lane. I think they've been there. I think they've done that. They held that crown for a long time. But I think now Lamborghini, the brand, is more concerned about, hey, look, when you're buying Lamborghini, you're buying you're buying the brand itself, the prestigiousness of the vehicle, the way it's made, the materials, the way it's built. Machine. Right. Just you're buying a machine. Forget about the speed and everything else. We've been there. We've done that. We know there's other cars out there, other manufacturers that are gunning for that title. That's not us. We're here because when you get into it, it's going to be an awesome experience. You're never going to experience anything like this. The sound, like you just said, is going to be crazy. You know, the materials are going to be top notch. The way it's built, you know that it's top notch.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what Lamborghini is right now in this current, you know, in this modern time. So like I said, everything you just said as far as SVJ, getting the SVJ is like, man, just the experience of it was like phenomenal. I can't wait to experience that one.
Yo, it's crazy. It's crazy we're talking about this. I was having a conversation with my brother FaTKaT earlier today when we were recording, and I was like, you know, I'm a Ferrari fan, but that Lamborghini SVJ, that I'm starting to become a believer. Every time I see one now, I'm like, yeah, that looks good. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's a good looking car. It's a good looking car. Yeah, it's a great looking car.
Looks like a spaceship. It's otherworldly when you see one on the road. They, you know, that thing causes. I know it probably causes car accidents all the time just driving it around. Just
looking,
can't not look at it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. It's like, wow, what an incredible machine when you see it. A road presence and there are lots of cars that have road presence, but to me, there's just something about that car that just looks fantastic.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree, because that is actually my dream car as well. Is a Lamborghini SVJ. So I'm kind of jealous that you actually got to sit in one. I'm mad at TJ because I was there and he didn't let me, you know, sit in it and you know, go out. It took me out for a spin, but it's okay. I'll get him on the line a little bit later and let him know how disappointed I am in him. But hey, RaceX, man, we greatly appreciate you one more time for joining us today. Again, we don't take it for granted when anybody comes on this show. But again, we greatly appreciate you coming on for the second time, taking time out again, because we know we had technical difficulties the first time as far as the connection and whatnot. So again, we greatly appreciate you coming on, you know, spilling your knowledge to us, you know, sharing your knowledge with us, and like I said, we just had a great time. Modern Day Muscle, before we get out of here, I'll go ahead and give you the floor. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the audience or to RacerX himself?
Well, RacerX, one thing I want to say is I'm glad you walked away from that accident. You know, that's very serious, and you know, not everybody gets a chance like that. So I'm glad that you was able to walk away. Also, too, thank you for coming back again. You know, we love your content. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on this platform. Thank you for supporting us. I think that is awesome. Into the chat, you know, you guys know what it is. Thanks for being here. You know, like, share, comment, do all that good stuff, man. Amen. And we'll see you guys on the next live.
Yes, sir. RacerX, any famous last words before we get out of here?
No, man, I appreciate you guys. Technically, this is my third time on the show because I was on your show one other time. So this is technically my third time. So
wait, am I missing?
I'm trying to think now.
No, I've been, although I don't know if it was I think it was on the Free Smoke show. I don't know. I remember having a podcast with you before. So we have done this one other time. And then of course, last time with the issues with my connection, but this time seemed to go much better. So I'm glad I was able to make it. Thank you guys for the support as always, man. You guys are fantastic. And it's been a pleasure, man. We need to do it again.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously when you get back up and going and, you know, you build another monster, we will definitely have you back on here again. To kind of talk about that and, you know, all the new things that, you know, you got going for yourself. And obviously some of the things that we couldn't talk about today because they're still, you know, in the process right now. So, you know, we could get all of those details out the way maybe. And again, and talk about, you know, what you got going on, you know, moving on from this situation. So we would definitely have you back on. You're more than welcome to come back on anytime you like. Again, especially when you, you know, get back up and running and beating people's, you know, butts out there on the track, I should say, because we know what's happening. Man, first of all, I would say this before we actually leave. For those people who have not seen, and granted, I never seen the Mustang. I never got a chance to see the Mustang in person, but that Hellcat, that's one of the cars that I used to get. You didn't know because you were in the car, but you know, I'm there filming, and I used to get so like excited just sitting behind that car at some of these events, because when that thing took off, man, it was just like nothing else. Like I don't think you've ever had I don't think I've ever seen you have like a bad run. I know you were like, oh, you come back like, oh man, you know this, that, and third. But that car just gets out the gate it used to anyway, but your Hellcat used to get out the gate so fast. Never had any slippage. You didn't spin wheels. You didn't spin your tires. It was just like a bullet every single time. And I can't wait till you get back to that, man, because that was exciting to see. Honestly, it was exciting to see.
Well, a lot of people on YouTube that, you were very fortunate, because you were always right up there in the front, and got you were just that perfect view of the car taking. A lot of people on YouTube, that watch my channel never had an opportunity to get behind the car when it launched like that. And it's not really the same. So you can kind of attest to being right behind the car when it launches, as opposed to just watching it on video. Completely different experience in terms of how loud that car is and just the way that that big old sucker would move out. And I really appreciate that. The car did work. I mean, it was just a very consistent, fast car, and I really enjoyed it while I had it. And I was glad you got to see it up close and personal. So it's all good stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I was fortunate to be able to see it race too. I didn't get to see it as much. It's just FaTKaT, but when I did see it, I was like, wow, that's something. Like it just like FaTKaT said, like the way it took off, it was just like, I guess if I could like categorize in one word, it was just aggressive. Like the way it just left out of the hole. It was just aggressive. Like it felt aggressive every time.
That's a good way to put it. It was literally like that every time. It just boom, it was just gone every time. Literally, it was like a like a slingshot, just take off.
When I interviewed him after we raced, I said, "Were you surprised?" He said, "Hell yeah!" It was just a lot coming from him, right? So it's kind of fun, but yeah, it was a good time, man. I love that car. The car was just consistent and it worked, man. I actually had so much fun in that thing.
But hey, we greatly appreciate you one more time, Ian, for coming on. If anybody literally wants to line up next to this guy, you better make sure you come prepared. And let me tell you, if you want to know how serious he is about it, just go watch some of his videos. Now, I would say, I must say, one of the great things I love when I watch your content. I like when you have the GoPro or whatever it is, your camera inside the car, because I've never your facial expressions when you're racing. it just everything about your facial expression just says this guy is super serious, and it's the same facial expression every time. That little tightness of the lip and you're just like looking it's the same thing every time. So man, it's
game
just
face,
man.
man.
That's exactly the game face.
I've heard people equate it to the Pennywise clown where he laughs and then he gets real serious real fast,
Right.
That's kind of me when I'm racing. I like to have a good time and joke about stuff, but when I get in the car and I'm lined up and I'm we're staging the car up and stuff, my demeanor it goes to a very business mode. So I guess that's just
instantly too. Like as soon as that car hits, then you'll see it go back and then your facial expression just changes instantly. And it's just like, man, every single time. So I enjoy that. I don't know why it's weird to me, but I just like laugh every time when I see that.
But hey, oh man, it's about to happen.
But hey, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go watch his videos. Videos from before and everything else, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll be like, okay, I get it. But hey, that's all we got for you. Actually, I do have one more question for you, if you don't mind, RacerX, before we get out of here.
Okay.
And because this is a question that I see often, even on your channel, that people ask, and I don't think I've ever seen you address this. And we can't really see it right now too much because it's kind of a little bit darker. But hey, people want to know: are those? And it's going to sound weird. It's not. I'm not asking for me. I'm asking for other people. But are those eyes real, man? Come on.
My eyes are made of a wood polymer that was engineered by NASA. No. I get that question a lot, and
right.
So the true answer to that question is I can't tell you.
Oh, we're not even going to get in here. Oh my God, we're not even going to get in here.
I do wear contacts. My eyes are actually very, very blue. The contacts are enhancers, so they make them just slightly more blue. But my eyes are actually extremely blue in real life as well. So when I wear the clear contacts, a lot of people can't tell the difference. So there you go.
There you go, man. Well, hey, I try for those people out there that are watching this, and that's all we can get out of them, But I tried to get everything out of them. But hey, we appreciate you one more time, RacerX. Again, we don't take it for granted for you coming on and spending your time out with us. Like I said, we would love to have you back on anytime. We look forward to it. So hey, your family here. Like I said, I've known you now for a couple of years, and I've enjoyed everything that you're doing from the time that I met you to the time to now. So, and I'm excited for the future as well. So again, appreciate it one more time. That's all we got for you guys, man. As we always say, and first of all, let me just go ahead and say, shout out to everybody that was in the chat today. Rocking out with us, commenting and everything else. So shout out to you guys. But as we always close it out, man, bless up to everyone out there. Big time shout out and salute to the Free Smoke Squad. And if you don't know, you all want your free smoke. And we do this for the culture. We're out of here. RacerX, thank you one more time. We'll have you back on anytime.
For sure.
Good night.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.